Hey guys, I'm InaWordFab, and this is Exo Radio. Once again, I'm back to bring you all the fab you need to know. Who am I? I'm a recovering lawyer. I'm a fashion copywriter. I'm a podcast personality, a personal style curator, and Newark's ambassador. And here at Exo Radio, we're all about the fashion, the beauty, and the scandal. But we're not here for any negativity. This is a no judgment zone, just straight talk, no chaser. You can find Exo Radio on SoundCloud, iTunes, and my website, InaWordFab.com. And while you're there, make sure to leave me some comments, review me, 5-star me, and I love talking to you guys. So make sure to @ me at InaWordFab. Thank you to my sponsors. Brown Girls Bar Crawl is in its 2nd year of drunken fun. Every month, Brown Girls Bar Crawl hosts events with amazing drinks and apps and discounts just for us. So look for Brown Girls Bar Crawl on FB, Meetup, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope to stay in the loop, and we'll see you at our next crawl. Okay, guys, so today's Exo Radio is extra special. First of all, it's taking place on Google Hangouts, so you may actually be watching this on YouTube, so yay. And then the second reason this show is extra special is my guest today. She is an internationally renowned dating and relationship coach for women and author of the popular ebook, Why Men Ask Dumb Dating Questions, which has helped women in 9 countries and counting. Her popular blog, where she teaches singles how to apply the rules, is accessed daily by readers all over the globe. And by using her own advice, this UK native met and married her Mr. Right. And now she's devoted to helping other singles stop sabotaging their dating lives. So please welcome to the show, the fabulous India Kang.
Hello, Lauren. That was the best introduction ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, before we dive into everything about dating, relationships, and your journey, I would like for you to join me as we talk about the 3 things that totally rocked my week. This is your need to know basis.
Great. Let's start.
Okay. So the first thing is we have to do our Lamar Odom update. So the former NBA star continues to improve, thank God, with Khloe by his side. After being found unconscious at a brothel in Nevada, I guess almost 2 weeks ago now. So he's back in LA for more specialized treatment. Khloe has vowed to stay by Lamar's side throughout his rehab, which might take months. Doctors have cautioned his family that there could be permanent damage. The extent is unclear, but hopefully this is the turning point that Lamar needs to really turn his life around and begin his full recovery from addiction. It's unclear. Well, when it was clear that Lamar would live, I totally was like, oh, they're totally getting back together. This is, I mean, it's not like this is what Khloe was waiting for, but I feel like Khloe was waiting for some sort of rock bottom so that he could finally get his life together. And guess what? It happened. It was confirmed this week they are calling off the divorce. They've apparently both agreed to give their marriage another chance. And Khloe's lawyer, Laura Wasser, went before a judge Wednesday morning asking them to withdraw the divorce papers they both signed. California is way backed up on divorce filing, so their papers were just sitting in a pile waiting to be signed. So now those are withdrawn. And I think a lot of people saw this coming because it was clear Khloe never really wanted the divorce. She, she wasn't really fast with it at all. She was waiting for him to get better, and it just never happened. And I think she finally just gave up, but I'm sure she's thinking now that things are better. So Kris Jenner was actually asked about the Kardashian family reaction to the news that they were staying together by Access Hollywood. And she said simply, nothing but love. So I'm pretty sure they're going to need more than love to make this relationship go again, but I'm wishing them the best. So India, what do you think about this news?
About Khloe Kardashian and her husband?
Yes,
I think she should so not get back together with him. I mean, the whole relationship from start to finish was a car crash. Now, I haven't followed the Kardashians in any great detail, but I do know that they got together quite quickly. I think it was within a month. I mean, she married him quite quickly. She broke all the rules. She moved too fast. She talked about him to the media, and now he's cheated on her, and she's going to take him back, and it's a big mistake. She needs to get rid of him. We wish him the best, of course, and we wish him good health, but she needs to move on, and she needs to start doing things a little bit differently next time.
I agree. So if Khloe came to you for coaching, what would you say to her at this point?
At this point, I would say, look, honey, get rid of him. Wish him the best, but get rid of him. You're not his mom. It's not your responsibility anymore. He's cheated on you.
Wow.
So wish him well, but now it's time to focus on your own relationships and try and find love again, but this time do it differently. So there's no need. She doesn't really owe him anything, you know. Like, and if the tables were turned, I wonder if Lamar would go running to her.
That's a good question.
Not that we'd find her in a brothel with, you know, with drugs in her system.
Right.
It's unlikely Khloe would go to a brothel, but if it was a similar situation, I wonder whether Lamar would be at her bed.
Correct.
Bedside.
I do think she gets into these relationships where she is very nurturing and mothering, and she does. I've done that in the past where I've become the mom in the relationship, and it's not sexy.
Yeah, they don't respect you because nobody wants to marry their mom.
Right, exactly.
He doesn't want a relationship with his mom. He's got a mom for that, hopefully.
Yeah.
And even if you do smother him, because as women, we're naturally giving anyway. We are natural nurturers. But to do that in your relationship, he will lose respect for you and he won't cherish you. He won't see the golden girl, the girl that he had to chase. She gives it too easily. So, of course, he doesn't respect her.
And she'll just end up having to take care of him the rest of her life. So, but we'll see. They're giving it a try. So, wishing them the best. All right.
Wishing him good health. Yeah.
Yes. The next thing we have to talk about is there's a new wedding trend in the news. So a gorgeous woman named Breland Freeman, she's a boutique owner and a self-proclaimed teacher of purity. So she recently wed her longtime boyfriend, gospel artist Tim Bowman Jr. And as a special gift to her father, who's a pastor, on her wedding day, Breland presented to him, her father, a certificate of purity. And it was actually a doctor's certification that her hymen was still intact, okay? And proof that she was a virgin on her wedding day. So it seems through the Instagram photos that they posted that her father was appreciative of it. And then, you know, the certificate definitely went viral. A lot of people were judging her. Other people were congratulating her. Personally, I think it's great if she decided that was her choice to remain a virgin before marriage. But I do think that it was the certificate presentation to her father is a little odd. I mean, does this mean your vagina belonged to him? Like, I thought you were remaining pure for God. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a bit weird. Like, wouldn't your dad take your word for it? Why do you need a doctor to let him know? I don't know. What do you think, India?
I think that's too much information for your dad. Like, I can't even imagine presenting my dad with that certificate. It would just be weird, you know, like, oh, here, Dad, here's a certificate. He would probably look at me going, what's this for? I just trust you. You know, it's a bit of an odd thing to do.
Exactly. So India, do you have clients that are still doing this, like saving it for marriage? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, I mean, yes, there are some girls, if they've got cultural issues or religious girls especially, they want to save their virginity for their husband, which is fine, you know, it's kind of what they want to do. Like, in some cultures you have to be a virgin, because if you're not a virgin you won't get married. So in some cultures it's really important to stay a virgin, and for those cultures I would say absolutely protect your virginity and get that certificate and present it to your new father-in-law, you know, like showing you're a virgin. And for girls who are really religious, they also want to wait until their wedding night, because for them marriage is between God and her husband. So absolutely, if that's your orientation, then you have to be a virgin. But for other girls it's not so important, and they want to try before they buy. So it really is up to the girl and her own situation.
Yeah. So, I mean, it worked for this woman. The pictures were gorgeous. So congratulations on your wedding. And I hope it was all that you wanted it to be on that wedding night, girl. Okay, the last thing that we have to talk about. I'm in the middle of another vegan cleanse, guys. And I realized that I have a full-blown case of vegan envy. Like, I'm a vegan in my head, but then when the pork is on my fork, not so much a vegan. So guess who's the latest celebrity giving me vegan envy, guys? It's Wendy Williams. Yes, we've all seen how snatched she is these days. She's so skinny. She looks great. And she's probably in the best shape of her life. And she just spilled the tea on her after show about how she did it. Well, she let us know that the key to her weight loss and maintenance has been a vegan diet. No meat, no dairy, and she's also given up refined sugars. She says she's doing a lot of juicing, a lot of veggies, a lot of water. She doesn't eat out of after dark, and as a result, she's lost 50 pounds over 3 years. And it seems like she's broken a food addiction because she said she really doesn't love food as much as she used to. So I don't know. I think I finally now have the inspiration that I need to like really try this vegan thing out, especially after I'm on day 5. So especially after I get through these 10 days, I feel like it'll be, you know, easy enough to just keep kind of going with it. So, India, are you a vegan? What is your deal over there in England?
So, I'm vegetarian, but I was vegan for about 6 months, and I find it really tough. Yes, this was back in 2000. By the way, that's why you look so gorgeous, Lauren. That's why your skin's so sparkling. So everybody get on this diet that Lauren's on. She looks fab. I'm gonna get on it as soon as we finished here, Lauren.
Yes, that must be it.
Send me the link.
So how did you find you found the vegan diet too hard?
I found it too hard because at the time I was working in advertising, and we used to do a lot of client entertainment, and it was hard to find restaurants that were geared towards vegans. And I remember taking a client out for lunch in this posh gastro pub, as we call them in the UK, and the only thing I could eat was chips and a salad. That was the only thing I could eat. And I asked them if they could make me some potatoes, and they said no.
Wow.
Yeah, I said, could you fry me some potatoes or boil me some potatoes so I could have it with some salad? And they said no. So I found it tough being a vegan in London, especially doing the job that I was doing. So yeah, I did it for 6 months, but I was drinking wine at the time, and that's not vegan.
Wait, it's not? I might have to rethink this thing then. I'm like,
you have to buy they clear the wine, animal and fish. So if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you shouldn't really be drinking wine. This is what I read. So at the time, I think I was a bad vegan because I was drinking wine.
Okay, all right. Well, so getting back to kind of what you do coach your clients though to kind of watch their weight, watch their health, go to the gym, and it's not shallow. Why is it that you coach your clients to do that?
It's because men are visual. And it's biological, and every man has a look or a type. And the reason I coach my clients look after themselves is because and they're feeling happy about themselves, they're going to start releasing positive pheromones, which men find very attractive. And when you're at your ideal weight, whatever that is for you, and you're looking after yourself, you're going to feel good about yourself. And if you're going to feel good about yourself, you're more likely to attract Mr. Right. But just because you're married, you still don't let yourself go, because men are very visual.
Got it.
And that's what it is. It's all biological. And if you want to blame anybody, because I sometimes get a bit of stick for saying this, is that you have to blame Mother Nature, because that's how she made men. They fall in love with their eyes. They've got to see you. They've got to see what they like. Then they come after you.
Right. Yeah. And I definitely would agree that when you feel better, you look better, you attract better people. So it all goes together.
Absolutely. And if you are single and searching for Mr. Right, then it's in your interest to look after yourself, because by looking after yourself, you're stacking the odds in your favor, because it is competitive out there.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So that was your need to know basis. Okay, awesome. So now, Miss India, I want to know your path to becoming a dating coach, because it's really quite interesting.
Yes. So I'll give you a little run through of how I became a dating coach. So I started dating myself. So I was in the trenches. Obviously, I'm married now, but I dated a lot in London. And I remember and really knowing what to do, which sounds kind of odd. And the question I asked myself was, who pays for dates? Like, I didn't know if the man paid, if the woman paid. So I was walking in Covent Garden in London, and I came across the book called The Rules Book. And I picked it up and I read it, and that was very much the beginning of my journey, because I read this book and I thought, this is just ridiculous. Like some of the advice that Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider, the authors, were giving, it was just so counterintuitive to everything that I knew or I'd heard. They were saying things like, don't chase men, don't pay for dates, don't travel or meet halfway, stop dating him who doesn't buy you a romantic gift for your birthday. And it just didn't make any sense to me. So I started to blog to test the rules, because I used to work in advertising, and in advertising it's all very much about test and learn. So I thought, I'll test these rules and I'll see what happens, and they kind of work.
Yes, even though they sound so restrictive, you know, kind of like a vegan diet. It's like, why would I ever do that? But then you start to do it and you're like, wait a minute, this is actually working for me.
Yeah. I mean, food and exercise is a good analogy for the rules, because when you do the rules, you go on a diet, you don't chase men, you stop some of your self-defeating behavior, you kind of have a detox. And I think veganism is, you probably eat a lot of, you do eat a lot of fruit and veg, you eat a lot of greens, so your body has a chance to recover and work at optimal health. So I guess the rules give you optimal health for your relationships.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I think what people don't understand is it's really good. It's good because a lot of women, sometimes we just don't have the right boundaries. And I think I found that was my situation. I had basically no boundaries. I just was an open book. I did what I wanted. And although I had a lot of fun and, like, I certainly didn't attract men that wanted to, like, have a relationship with me or to really cherish me, like you were saying. It was just more like just having fun, dating, that's it. But there was no one that was really trying to, invest in me and, really date me hardcore,
Well, Lauren, if you go out looking the way you look now, I think there'll be a million men trying to take you out.
So nice of you. Thanks, India. All right, so we have to talk about your book, Why Men Ask Dumb Dating Questions. First of all, this is genius because I myself date online, and the questions, you get the same questions over and over again, and you're like, why are you asking me this? My favorite is, how long have you been single? And then also, why are you single? Or a hybrid of the two. Why have you been single for so long? I just am like, how do you answer this? I don't get it.
Okay, so first of all, that's a very normal dating question. Like, it's really, really normal. Like, when you go for an interview and they say, why do you want the job?
Yeah.
Or they say, why us? Or tell us a little bit about yourself. It's exactly the same thing. These men, all they're trying to do is get to know you. And everybody knows that a standard dating question is, how long have you been single? What are you doing on this site? Have you met anybody you like? What do you think about this dating? Like, they're normal dating questions. And getting angry with them, because some girls seem to get really mad at men for asking these questions. Right. But getting mad at men is a little like getting angry with the weather for being the weather. Kind of that kind of analogy. So what I try to do with this book is to show girls, well, first stop getting them angry, because that's no good for your blood pressure. And secondly, to show them that these questions are normal, but you don't have to answer the questions. And the way you answer the question will give you a competitive edge. Because every girl, as you know, as you just said, all men ask the same questions. And there wasn't just one man. Every man, or nearly every man, they're all asking me the same questions. So I had to figure out the responses. So I thought, well, I need to figure out how to answer these questions, because they're like a little bit weird, these questions. But the more I dated, the more I realized that they're very, very normal. So the aim in the book was to give the girls the tools to give them a competitive advantage.
Right. So someone like me who's been single for a long time, how do you answer that? Because it kind of feels, I get defensive when they ask me, how long have you been single? Because it feels like I'm less than because I've been single for so long.
Okay, I mean, they don't need to know that you've been single for years and years. I don't know how long you've been single, but they don't need to know. You can just say something like, you ask the question, well, that would be telling.
Okay.
I couldn't possibly, that, or you could say, that's top secret. I've only just met you. Or you could say, that's personal. That's a personal question. I couldn't possibly answer. So you can answer it in a very cute way, because you don't have to actually, it's not like going for a job interview and they say, when was the last time you worked? You don't have to say that you've been out of work for 2 years. And even if you were out of work for 2 years, you wouldn't say that.
Right.
You'd say that you'd say that you were on a sabbatical or you did a bit of traveling. You'd make yourself look interesting.
Right.
So dating works in the same way. So how long have you been single? You could say, oh, not long, you know, just started dating.
Okay.
Why are you single? You can say, well, I guess I haven't met the right person yet.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you're kind of like non-answers, but cute non-answers.
Yeah, it's cutesy non-answers, and try not to take the questions personally. They don't do it on purpose.
Mm.
They really, all they're trying to do is get to know you, and they just ask you these standard questions, and they all do it.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. What would you say is the best way for a single mom to approach dating, especially when they're not just dating for themselves, but they're dating for their child or their children? How would you that person?
Okay, so first of all, she has to do the rules, of course, Lauren. She has to do the rules. Okay. Secondly, the biggest gift she can give her child is to be happy. So she has to go out there and she has to date, but because there's a child involved, she has to take her time. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage her to really get to know the guy first before she even thinks about introducing him to her children. So it's really important that she gets to know him first, and she loves him and he loves her, and then she introduces him to her children.
Okay, so you would suggest waiting until there's like an I love yous exchange?
I mean, the love yous get exchanged quite quickly when a man wants you. Like, they don't hang around. So when a man wants you, you don't wait months and months and months for the I love you. They say pretty quickly. Like they'll say it within anything from a month to sometimes 6 months. But if he wants you, you know he wants you pretty much straight away, because a man knows if you're his girl straight away. He doesn't need a lot of time to figure it out. I mean, obviously, it's unlikely he'll say I love you on the first date. And even if you did, you have to ignore him. But he'll say I love you pretty quickly. I think my husband said it within the first month, I think. But I wasn't ready to say it back. So I would just say, I love me too. That's how I used to answer that question.
I love it. That's awesome. So we've been talking a little bit around the rules, but for people that don't know what that is and have no idea what it is, how would you describe it, and why do you think the rules work?
So the rules, first and foremost, is a book by 2 authors in America, Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider. The latest book is called Not Your Mother's Rules, and it's a framework. It's an approach to date. So some girls don't really understand the rules, or they apply them wrong. Like, they understand the theory behind them, but the application, they get it all wrong. And I think the easiest way to describe it is that it's a framework and a guideline to help you find Mr. Right and to help weed out the time wasters. And to answer your second question, the reason it works is because it's biological, evolutionary. So what Ellen and Sherry are teaching us is nothing new in dating. A lot of, or the gender has been lost because women now work, we can do everything for ourselves. Men no longer have to. Men now, we expect them to be our girlfriends, we expect them to talk to us, we expect them to tend to our emotional needs, and it's all upside down. And dating is really, really confusing now. So what the rules does, it gives you an approach and a framework to date effectively. Now, I personally don't know how anybody can date without the rules. Like, I just don't know how you can do it. I don't know how you can do it. You need some kind of structure, you need some kind of framework, and that's what the rules give you.
Okay. That makes sense. So based on the rules, there's a lot of you have to put a lot of faith into like the universe and just yourself when you're doing the rules, because basically you're sitting back a lot. You're not really like taking initiative, and you're just trusting that if a man really likes you, he'll ask you out, right?
Yes, but you actually have to do a lot of work. I mean, you have to be passively active. So you can't talk to a man first, but you have to look after yourself. You have to exercise. You have to eat well. You have to go to where the men are. You have to use as many channels as possible to meet men, whether that's dating apps, online dating, speed dating, singles events. You have to start dressing a little bit better for work because you never know who you might meet on your morning commute. So there's actually a lot of work that you have to do. It's not just a case of sitting back and expecting the universe to deliver you a man. It's a little bit like looking for a job. Like when you're looking for a job, you have to dress the part, you have to make sure you've got the right qualifications for the job, you have to have a CV, then you have to interview. And dating works in the same way. So you can't actually give yourself a job if no job exists.
Right.
So if you apply for a job, you have more chance of getting that job. So with men, if you go to where the men are and more men are able to see you with their eyes, you've got more chance of meeting Mr. Right.
Okay, got it. So what do you think are the main ways that single women are sabotaging our dating lives? Like, what's one or two things that you would say immediately stop doing?
Okay, I'm going to give you a few.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's not just one, Lauren. Okay, so the first thing women are doing is that they're not looking after themselves.
Okay.
You have to look after yourself. The second is that they're not doing the work required. They really think somebody at work and they're going to chat at the water cooler and that's going to be it and that's going to be their Mr. Right and they're going to run off to into the sunset. Now, it doesn't always work like that. For some girls can go out on a night out and meet their Mr. Right in a bar. Other girls, it takes them years and years. So you have to do the work. Another reason is you can't behave like a diva and you can't be high maintenance. You can't tell a man what to do. So if you're diva or high maintenance, he might date you, but he's not going to hang around. Another reason is your belief system. Some girls really don't think it's going to happen for them. Now that resonates with me because even though I was doing a lot of work and I was getting out there and I was on 9 dating sites, I still didn't believe it was going to happen for me. Another reason is unrealistic deal breakers. So, for example, a 35-year-old girl who will only date men in their 20s. So, a 25-year-old is not looking for a 35-year-old. Never say never, and some men do date older women. But if you're 35, it's in your interest to date from 25 to 40. You're going to have more chance of meeting somebody you want. So those are some of the reasons that I'm seeing why girls are still single.
Wow. Yeah, I really liked what you said about opening up your age limits, especially as you get older, because I do think it's funny. You were saying that men who are maybe 45 are looking for women who are 35, not necessarily men who are even 40. They might be looking for women that are 25.
A 40-year-old man wants a 29-year-old girl. I had a male client who was 52 and he wanted to date 36-year-olds.
Wow.
I had to tell him that a 36-year-old girl doesn't want to date him. She wants to date a 38-year-old male. Right. But a 38-year-old male wants to date a 25-year-old girl.
Right. Like, what are we going to do with that?
So you have to get smart.
Yeah.
So if you are a 35-year-old girl and you want to date somebody in their 20s, you've got to open up your deal breakers and stack the odds in your favor. You've got to search from 25 to, I would actually say, 45. Doesn't mean you have to marry the 45-year-old, but all that means is that you've allowed more men in. And if you don't like any of them, you simply don't go on a date.
Right.
So if you're not even allowing them in, then there's no men in your little bucket or pool. So you've got to allow men in. You've really got to open up your deal breakers. You can't be so strict.
Right. And sometimes the dates that you go on are just specifically for practice. It might not be, you already know that you don't want to like spend the rest of your life with this man, but you just need to kind of like keep going with the dating, keep feeling beautiful and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, duty dating. So you duty date. You go on dates with men who may not tick all your boxes because it allows you to practice the rules if you're a rules girl, and it really helps you work out what you want and you don't want in a man. You might go, and you never know. You might go on a date with a guy and think, nah, he's not for me. But then you might have a couple of dates with him and you might change your mind. So you can't judge. Just keep an open mind. That's something that I'm always saying to girls. Just keep an open mind and just go. You have to turn up. The hardest part is turning up. But once you're there, just watch and listen and take notes. And if you don't like him and you decide that he's really not for you, just don't see him again.
Right. Now, should all single women be online dating? Like, no matter what, just do it?
Every single girl who's serious about meeting Mr. Right should be online dating and on dating apps. Every single girl.
Including Tinder.
Including Tinder. Get on it, because that's where the men went online dating and Tinder with other ways to meet men. Now, Tinder is simply a channel. That's all it is. It's a platform for you to meet men. Now, whether you like it or not, and I hated all forms of chat, if I'm honest, and I didn't like online dating. I didn't even like speed dating. You know, it was hard work, but it doesn't matter. It's just a platform. That's all it is. So you have to go to where the men are.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Now, okay, let's talk about once you get to the ring. Does ring size matter? Is a huge ring a reflection of a lot of love and vice versa? What have you found?
Yeah, so no, the ring size doesn't matter. A huge ring is a sign that your husband or your fiance has a lot of money.
Right.
That he can afford it. Now, if he can only afford a small diamond, that's fine. If he could buy you a bigger diamond, he probably would. So I don't think ring size is reflective of his feelings to you. Not at all. I mean, he's given you a ring. His commitment means more than the size of the ring.
Okay, that makes sense. And once you're married, do you still need relationship coaching, or are you just like done? You got married, I'm done.
No, I mean, once you're married, it's like you're dating. It's all about the man chasing you, being hard to get, disappearing in between dates, not staying on the phone too long, not returning texts unless they're date related. And once you're married, it's different. Once you're married, it's about making him number one priority. It's about, you still have to look after yourself. You can call him, but obviously don't disturb him too much at work. Make his favorite food. Tell him he's the best. Really make him feel like the most important person in the world. So the rules are slightly different, but you start understanding it. The longer you're married, you start understanding his habits, his mannerisms, and then you adapt, and then it becomes easier.
I wonder what happened when you met your husband and he found out about the rules. Like, when did he find out that you were a rules girl, or how did that work?
Okay, I mean, firstly, he did find out about through my blog, and he couldn't care less. So what happened was, I was writing this blog, as you know, and we went out for dinner. It was quite early on. I think it was only something like the 6th or 7th date in. And he knew I wrote a blog. He just didn't know that it was about the rules. So he Googled me and he found the blog, and he read the entire blog from start to finish.
Wow.
So we were at dinner. We went to this Indian restaurant in Covent Garden called Dim Sum. And I remember it happening, and I was looking at the menu, and he looked up from the menu and he said, "So, India Kang, what would you like to eat?" And I looked up at him. He goes, "Oh, your blog." And I just said, "Yeah, so you found it?" And he nodded. I went, "Great." Then I carried on ordering my food, because for me it was fantastic. That's one less conversation I need to have, and that was it. And then he would read my blog to see if he could. That was it. It was no more than that. But for him, I think for him, he loved it, because he would say to me, I didn't marry any rules girl. I married the rules coach. So for him, it became a bit of a challenge. Yeah. Like, I have to get the coach, not just any girl. So it just wasn't. It was so nondescript. It was unbelievable, Lauren.
Wow, that's perfect. That's amazing.
They don't care. Like when you're there, Mrs. Right, they don't care. Nothing bothers them. Nothing phases them.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Now, let's talk about sex on the first date. Is it always a bad idea? Can you recover from this? Is there a way to turn friends with benefits into something greater? Because I think a lot of women they start off kind of fast and then they want to reel it back.
Yeah, I mean, sex on a first date, generally the answer is try not to. Only because you don't know him, you don't know anything about him, he doesn't know anything about you, so it's best to wait. However, if you are going to have sex on the first date, you have to be able to take or leave the guy. So if you're cool about it and you don't really care about building the relationship, then sure, go ahead. But you have to know that it may not go anywhere.
Right.
Right. Friends with benefits, if you've been friends with benefits for a while, like I'm saying 3 or 4 months, and he hasn't asked you to be his girlfriend, then you're going to remain friends with benefits. So as long as you're happy with friends with benefits, that's fine. But if you're going to go into a friends with benefits situation, don't expect anything more, because you probably won't get anything more.
Okay. How do you feel about dating a friend's ex? Is there such a thing as girl code, or is it like, listen, it might be love? Who knows? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, by the way. I love that question. I think when it comes to relationships and dating, you have to be grown up a little bit about it. I mean, if he likes you more, if you are his Mrs. Right and he chases you and he asks you on a date, then I would say go for it. You know, and your girlfriend should understand. I mean, so if she's dating somebody and he's not into her, you've actually done her a favor. You've stopped her wasting her time, because it means that there's somebody else out there better for you, or better for her, sorry.
Right.
So for me, all's fair in love and war. Like if the guy is dating your friend, but really he's after you, and you're his Mrs. Right, and he's chasing you, and he's showing you that you're the one, providing he's broken up with her, of course.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously, he has to break up with her. Then, yeah, I'd go on a date.
Okay, I like that answer. Okay. Okay. Now, what if you are dating someone and you're just like, you know what, this is going nowhere, or you've already said we're in a committed relationship, but you're like, not feeling it. How is the best way to break up with somebody?
Okay, you have to act like a man.
Okay.
So when a man wants to break up with you, what he will start moving away from you.
Mm-hmm.
He'll stop calling, he'll stop texting, he won't be around, you don't know what's going on, you don't know when you'll next see him. And I encourage you to do the same. You don't need to have a chat with the guy. You don't need to say, hey, this isn't really working for me. It's me, it's not you. I'm not really ready for this. You just don't have to bother. You just stop taking his calls. I mean, if he asks you, obviously, what's going on, you can just tell him, you can tell him that you don't really feel a spark or a connection. And then you just stop taking his calls, and you just stop taking his texts, and you don't meet him on dates. That's all you have to do.
Block, delete, report, right?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. But I mean, if you've been dating for 2 years, obviously it's gonna be a little bit harder for you to do. But if you're newly dating, you met somebody and you've been going together for 2 months or 3 months, and you've decided that actually it's not for you, you owe him nothing.
Right.
Nothing at all.
It sounds like the ghosting phenomenon that they talk about, when you're like, I think there was an article in the New York Times recently about ghosting, and it's just like this phenomenon where there's no conversation. It's just like the person just disappears, and that's it. It's over.
Yeah, that's what a man will do when he doesn't want to date you. You stop here. He doesn't contact you. He's not available on the phone. He doesn't reply to your texts. He doesn't send you a happy birthday text for you. He stops contacting you. He moves away from you. So act like a man. Just do, and and a man will have moved on. He'll move on really, really quickly. Next thing you know, he's engaged to somebody, and you think, whoa, he's only dating me last year, and now he's engaged. So don't waste time, girls.
Exactly. Okay, so here's something that applies to my life. Every so often, I'll think back on my exes, like, should I try that again? Like, maybe it's meant to be. He's still single. I'm still single. But are these just fantasy thoughts? Like, how do you stop thinking about an ex or get over an ex?
Okay, so just to answer your question first. So if you're thinking about exes and you're thinking, is there a chance? You can do what we call one call for closure. Mm-hmm. That is, you give him a quick call when he's not going to be around. You just say, hey, how are you? I was just thinking about you. Thought I'd say hi. And then you put the phone down really, really quickly. And if he calls you back, then you do the rules. But if you do the one call for closure and you never hear from him, then he was never meant to be.
Okay.
So the way to get over the ex is to date other men. Date other men, because there's somebody else out there who's more suitable for you. So that's why I'd encourage you to do for your situation. Do the one call for closure very, very quickly. Phone him up when he's not likely to pick up the phone. But if he does pick up the phone, stay on the phone for 5 to 10 minutes, no more. And then you're out of there. And then if you hear from him again, like if he's trying to pin you down or he calls you again, then okay, we do the rules and then we see what happens. Otherwise, you have to accept that it was never meant to be, that there's somebody else better for you, and then you focus on finding your personal Mr. Right.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, my last question. Okay, when you meet somebody went through online, like online dating, and then you finally get, you know how it takes a while to finally get off the online, get to the phone, and then you're texting, and then they ask you for a picture. Sometimes this annoys me because I'm like, there's all those pictures online. Why do you now need a picture on the phone? I don't know. Am I being silly about it? Because I'm just like,
No.
if you want to see me, maybe take me out.
No, you're actually spot on, and that's true. So any pictures, all you need to do your part, which is you need to have 2 very good pictures online. You need a good head. You do only two.
Oh, okay.
So take the others down, Lauren.
Okay.
So we just want a very good headshot and a very good body shot, just of you on your own. Get them professionally taken. It's a very good investment. It's the best investment you'll ever make, your pictures.
Okay.
And that's all you need. So if you text us for a picture, you can just say, hey, there's a couple on my website. There's a couple on the website, and that's it. But a savvy man will download your pictures off the site. That's what my husband did. He downloaded my pictures off the dating site, and he had them on his phone.
Right, so he could look at them whenever.
So he could look, and he would show all his friends, and he would show all his family. He would say, this is the girl that I'm dating. I didn't send him any pictures. So to answer your question, don't send him any pictures, but make sure you're doing your part, which is only 2 really good pictures online.
Okay. My problem is I had changed my hair so much that I try to give them all the possible options of what I might look like. But anyway, all right. I love this conversation. I could talk to you for like hours about this stuff. You're so good at it. But before I let you go, I want to play a quick game. Can we play a game?
Yeah, I love games.
Okay. This is called speed dating disaster. Okay. So you're a big proponent of speed dating, right?
I am.
Okay. So we're going to pretend you're on the speed date from hell. Okay. And I'm going to ask you some of the really worst dating questions ever, and you have to respond as fast as you can.
Okay, go.
Okay, ready? How much money do you make?
Oh, I don't know. Haven't really checked my account, but enough to keep me in coffees and champagne.
Ah, okay. How many kids do you want to have?
Kids. I don't know, but kids can be cute, like my niece is so cute.
Love it. What's your 5-year plan?
Whoa. No, that's a no. I mean, I'll have to think about it. I'll come back to you.
Okay. What went wrong between you and your ex?
Phew. I don't know. I guess we just weren't compatible.
Have you ever cheated on someone?
No, I'm a good girl. I'd never do anything like that.
Okay. What's your favorite position?
Position as in yoga?
I love that. Do you think your parents will like me?
I don't know. We could ask them.
Did you bring your wallet?
I've got a purse.
Okay, all right. Have you ever had plastic surgery?
Plastic surgery? No, but I drink out of a plastic bottle.
Where do you see this going? Where are we going?
Well, I'm gonna head out of here and head home. I'm not sure where you're gonna go.
Do you want to maybe come up for a drink after this?
I'd love to, but I've made plans with a friend for dinner. But maybe next time.
When's the last time you had sex?
Oh, that's a bit personal. Can't do personal. Stranger danger. I've only just met you.
Okay, that was great. Thank you,
India. See, Laura, you don't have to answer the question. Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly. You did. It was the cute non-answers.
You don't give anything away.
My favorite is the, what do you mean, yoga? That's the best. Okay, so before I let you go, please let everybody know, first of all, where they can find your blog, your social media, and where they can buy your book.
Oh, I'd love to. So the website is indiakang.com, and on there you can find my blog and my book, which is called Why Men Ask Dumb Dating Questions, which is available via the website or via Amazon. So thank you so much, Lauren. This has been so much fun.
This has been a blast. Thank you for calling, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Take care, Lauren.
Bye, India.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So before we go, we have to have my fashion moment. And the mother of all fashion collaborations is hitting stores November 5th. H&M is collaborating with Balmain. Yes, the strong-shouldered fashion brand that all fabulous men and women in Hollywood are wearing. And the collection is available to preview online with campaign images starring Gigi Hadid, Kendall Jenner, and Jordan Dunn. And everything looks amazing. They have form-fitting dresses, structured blazers, and circle, my favorite. So this is one shopping event you don't want to miss. That's H&M's collaboration with Balmain coming to stores November 5th. All right, guys, make sure you check out my guy Bionic Mark's podcast, The Cosign. Big hugs and kisses to Jameson, my producer, and download Great Scott's Think, the audiobook. Thank you to my awesome guest, India Kang, and my sponsors, Brown Girls Bar Crawl. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and I love you like XL. Bye.